Morning, Tabitha.
Good morning.
So, Tabitha, do you know why we're talking?
I assume it's to talk about the work from home request accommodation.
So I believe there's some communication going back and forth with employee health, and I was copied on it with Tyler. So it was to discuss a potential return. So we wanted to throw out some ideas and get your feedback also. Tyler, do you want to take it, or do you want me to?
Sure, I'm happy. So as Mike had laid out, I know back in mid-November we received a accommodation request through employee health. Went back and forth. I know they did with your physician's office, with I'm assuming you, and then also back with our leadership team here at UCMC. We granted at least temporarily to get it started, especially with the vaccine not being available and the surge just starting with COVID growth in the region. Asked to reevaluate it in late February, which would have been the 3-month mark. And so that is actually tomorrow, I believe, is the official 3-month mark from the start of the accommodation. We know that the situation has changed a little bit. Obviously, we've been able to give our staff an opportunity to get the vaccination. The region and the state as a whole has seen a dramatic drop from 10,000 plus new cases a day to now just over 1,000. And with that, wanted to talk about how we get a full business team back on site. We have spoken with employee health, and they are more than happy to provide an N95 mask fitting for you, as well as provide you continuous N95 mask as well, trying to minimize your need. We're not going to have you rounding on patients. If you do need to meet with somebody, that we try to do it in a socially distanced setting.
So the ask is to be back on site full-time, 40 hours a week.
Yes.
And that would begin when?
The goal would be, as soon as possible. I would not expect you to show up again this week. My thought would be potentially looking at next week, a return. Want to talk that through with you. I don't want to push this out multiple weeks by any means.
I think I've shared this with you, Tyler. It's just a little bit confusing to hear the Lofgren updates every week and him assuring if you're working from home successfully to keep doing that until at least June, and just not understanding why I would need to do my job in a different location when it just naturally is going to incur a higher level of risk.
At the beginning of it, the role was a little bit different at the beginning of COVID. It was very much just focused on survival mode for the hospital. And now that we are going back, we have projects we're starting back up again.
I mean, I understand that, and it has been reassuring to see the case count getting lower. I unfortunately just find myself in a really difficult position due to my underlying health condition and general concerns about working inside of a hospital during a pandemic. And at this point, I really have to prioritize my health, and unfortunately, I've just realized more and more that my timeline and what I consider an acceptable level of risk are at odds with those of the hospital. So at this point, I think I'll need to resign my position. If there's anything I can do to keep supporting the hospital remotely, even if it's in a more limited capacity or just until you're able to hire a replacement, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, Tabitha, let me discuss with Tyler, and we could get back to you. So none of those accommodations would meet what your concerns are?
I appreciate the consideration of those accommodations. It just seems unnecessary for a job that I can 90% plus do remotely. I mean, if this is a matter of coming in to cash checks every couple weeks or something, that's more reasonable, but just being there full time every day just seems like a higher degree of risk that is really unnecessary.
Tyler, do you have anything else?
I do not have anything else at this point. I appreciate, Tabitha, you sharing all of your concerns with us and being open to at least discussing, what options we had on the table. So like Mike said, we'll need to take this back and discuss it internally.
Sorry, Tabitha, about calling you back so quickly. I just wanted to run a couple things past Tyler, because I really wasn't expecting you to resign. So we threw out a couple of those options that we thought would work. Are there some other ideas that you're having other than a hybrid idea?
Beyond that, I don't know what else would work. Again, I feel like my job can largely be done just on a computer, and it doesn't need to be on site. I know there's some things Tyler and I have discussed with cashing some checks, and again, if it's a matter of just, coming in once a week or once every couple weeks to take care of any in-person activities. Otherwise, I feel like it's hard to kind of justify why I would need to be there full time.
So Tyler definitely needs you on site, and it would be full time. Once a week or once every couple of weeks wouldn't work. The resignation, that's completely up to you. Do you want to take 24 hours to think about it, or what's your thought?
Sure. If that's okay, I'll take some time to think about it. Wow, it has just been such a stressful couple of days. So after we had the HR conversation yesterday, I took the 24 hours, even though my decision wasn't going to change, and now I'm about to send my official resignation to my boss and kind of go from there.
So at this point, like I said, disappointed to lose you, but I understand obviously where you're coming from on that and respect that decision. But I do appreciate the offer to kind of help in the interim. We can discuss a more formal end date in the next few days.
Okay, that sounds good.
So I really do appreciate that, and that is very helpful. I am glad that you were willing to at least help us get through some transition planning in the process.
Yes, absolutely.
Just for planning purposes, I do not foresee this going into April.
All right, my last day has been set for March 12th. Okay, we got this.
Yeah,
a Deep-Fried
Chili Cheese Coney.
Chili Cheese Coney from the Northside Yacht Club. And we're about to cut into it. Ooh la la.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Pulling up to the hospital for what should be the last time ever.
Yeah.
I have to go up 6 flights of stairs. Okay. I'm here for the last time to clean out my office. Here we go. I almost forgot this was still going. Okay, it's probably super boring.
Just pooped. Oh, he has some big old tail feathers.
Okay, how are we gonna do this?
Tripod?
I'm practically not breathing.
Here, you want me to take over?
Oh, there you go.